So I had to think quickly and I had to twist the sticker in the middle, which meant there was a bubble, huge bubble in the middle. Hey, welcome back to my channel. It's Wendy here from Toonpish Crafts and I hope you're doing okay. Now you may have seen either last week or the week before a container I made for the windowsill in my shower room. Well, I've got the second one I'm going to do this week. Hopefully it'll be coming out in the same kind of way as the first one, but different. Again, not explaining myself very well. But that's me. So if you saw last week's video, you'll know these are the two moulds that I'm using, and I'm using the smaller one today. The bubbles that I put in last week, I'm going to do exactly the same this week. These are small glass marbles. And I will put the link for these in the description box below, together with everything that I used today. If I missed any links, please do let me know. Now I know from last week that these glass marbles don't exactly fit in the mould, but they do work, so we're going with those. I'm going to use Let's Resin Epoxy Resin for this pour. I do have a discount code for 10% off at the checkout, and that will be in the description box below the video. I actually purchased this myself because I was really low on resin and the pumps did appeal to me, so I started measuring out the first half. So once I've measured out one half, I'm going to do exactly the same with the second half, the same amount. Now, to be fair, I should have really have used a large cup in the first place. But I didn't know how easy these pumps would be because this is the first time I'm using these particular pumps. They are very accurate, but I wasn't sure to start with. So I measured out two separate amounts in two plastic cups. Then I realised that there was too much for me to pour one into the other. So I had to pour both into a larger cup. Really, I should have used the larger cup to start with. It would have saved on waste, and I don't like wasting anything. So once I have the two parts in one plastic cup, then I'm going to mix. Now, for some reason, I decided on this occasion I would mix by hand. Absolutely nothing wrong with mixing by hand if you have the time and the patience to do it slowly and precisely. I then did run this resin through the bubble remover machine to get rid of any bubbles that I put in by hand. When it was completely bubble free, I poured quite a large amount into the base of the mould. I don't want this to go up to the top of the mould, I want a backing colour as well. So it's not going high, but it is going across the top flat part. Now I can start adding my glass balls. Now actually I realised at this point I hadn't run round with my micro brush to get rid of any stuck hair to start with. So I stopped what I was doing and quickly ran round with a micro brush before I put any more of the glass balls in the mould. Always a good idea to get rid of any bubbles that are stuck in the mould to start with. Once that was done, I could go back and add more glass marbles. My head is not in the right place at the moment. Now, as I said before, they don't fit, but they will push down and push the mould out. And I'm quite happy with that because it's not detrimental to the actual finished piece whatsoever. If you saw last week's, you'll know that it worked really well. So I'm quite happy to just put those marbles in and push them down, making sure I use the micro brush to get rid of any stuck hair around the marbles. Now, as it comes to the bottom of these marbles, they are becoming more bright and more colourful. So although it's the same marbles, last week it was mostly mottled blues and purples, and this week's I've got red, pink and all sorts in there. That's all fine by me. Once I feel I have enough marbles in there, I squirt it with isopropyl alcohol and I leave it overnight to cure. The following day, I'm going to decant some more resin. This time I'm using a silicone bowl which is larger to put both parts in. I really do prefer using silicone measuring cups. You just clean them out and it's less waste. Again, I'm mixing by hand. No rhyme or reason really. I have the time, and sometimes I feel that cleaning an extra piece of equipment is less beneficial to me than actually doing it by hand. But that does depend on my mood. Once it's all mixed, I pop it into the Let's Resin debubbling machine. This piece of machinery really is worth the money, in my opinion. It doesn't work as well with silicone cups as it does with plastic cups. Now I'm guessing it's because silicone is quite thick and the plastic has no air in it whatsoever. Whereas the silicone may well do because it's supple, but it still did the job. And although it looks like there's still a lot of bubbles in there, they're all surface bubbles, and with a squirt of isopropyl alcohol they dissipate. And you have beautiful clear resin. Now, as this tray is going to be positioned next to the other tray, the first tray that I made, I'm going to use the same colours. So we have turquoise from one of Let's Resin's pack, and I've put a small amount of the powder in the bottom. I'm not measuring this resin this time, I'm just mixing up a small amount of each colour, and I'm going to use the whole amount of resin. The next colour we've got is this little piggy mermaid, and this is one of my favourite colours. I absolutely love this colour. It shimmers and changes colour all over the place, and I do think it is spectacular. I'm not affiliated with this little piggy, but I do love their colours. And the last colour I'm using is Dianka Piurs Opal Ice, another absolutely stunning ghost pigment. This is Diana's Ghost Blue, and it works so well with the other two colours. And I do have a discount code for Dianka Piurs colours in the description box below as well. But all my discount codes are on toonpish.com. So go check out toonpish.com, go to the discount section, and all of them are there. So once all of those powders are mixed in nicely, I'm going to start to pour. Now I'm not using glue this week. Last week I used glue. This week I'm not. I'm just going with very thin stripy pattern right across the bottom of this piece. I started with the Ghost Blue, the Opal Ice, and obviously I've got something foreign in there, probably one of my hairs off of my head. Honestly, I don't know how I've got hair on my head, the amount that falls out, but you've got to get out the resin, right? And I'm very lightly pouring very thin strips in a diagonal pattern across the bottom. Once I've done the Opal Ice, I'm going in with the turquoise, and again, very, very thin stripes, quick motion, back and forward in the same direction. I don't intend to cover it with either of those two. The blue is going to do most of the covering. So when it comes to the blue, I'm pouring a little bit more. But again, in the stripy direction, and it doesn't matter at this point if I haven't filled it all in, because I'm going to go back with the same colours and do it exactly the same again. First with the Opal Ice in the same direction, very thin, very swipey action, and then with the turquoise to get that really nice swipe effect. Now because there's no glue in this resin, these colours will merge, which is why I'm doing very, very thin strips, and I'm hoping to get a really nice sea type colour from the underneath. This is the plan, and I'm not sure at this point whether it's going to work, but I keep going. I'm not going to pour any blobs on here. I keep going with the stripes until I'm happy that the mould is completely full of resin. Now obviously I'm going over the edges. It doesn't matter to me if I waste a bit of resin around the edges. It's on a silicone mat, so it doesn't matter if any of the resin goes on the silicone mat because it'll come off nicely anyway. And I literally just keep going with the three colours with my fingers crossed and my toes crossed that this will work nicely. I squirt it with isopropyl alcohol when I feel that it's completely full up. And then I use a cotton bud to go around the outside to try and clear up some of the mess that I've made. It does help in the long run because there's less to cut away when you demould. So once I've given it a nice clear up with a cotton bud and a baby wipe, I leave it secure for 24 hours. The following day is an exciting time. I really like how this looks before it comes out the mould. I think that mottled colour effect on the bottom looks absolutely beautiful, and I have my fingers and toes crossed that it's going to look as good on the inside. Releasing this mould is super easy. They are really nice moulds, I've got to be fair. And I am over the moon. The effect from those 3 different colours has really come through, and I love the way it looks. The bubbles I knew were going to look fantastic, and now I'm going to do the final touches. These are UV DTF stickers. It's a pack I bought from Amazon, I believe, and I will try and link them in the description box below. There are seascapes with turtles. Now I have got a thing for turtles. And when I picked up this pack, I was looking through them thinking, do I really want to put a cartoon turtle on this piece next to the seahorses that is already in the shower room? Each picture was slightly too big. These are designed for tumblers, but I kept going to try and find the one that I thought would fit best. Not only in this piece, but together with the seahorse piece. Now I think I had 3 favourites. I had 3 favourites. I had the one that looks quite realistic, a rather large turtle, and a more of a baby turtle. A couple of the UV DTFs had colour splotches on them, and I didn't think they really went well with the tray. I do want to be able to see through the UV DTF to see the colours of the tray itself. So which one would you choose? I came up with 3 different ones that I really like the look of, and in the end I went with the more realistic looking turtle. But it was too big for the area that I wanted to put it in, so I'm going to have to cut it down. Now there are a lot of little fish at the top of this and bubbles, and I can cut those off and actually use them individually on a separate piece or on top of this piece later. Now this bit was quite technical. I had to work out what I could fit in the area because I'm putting this UV DTF in the centre of this tray. Now obviously it's too big, so I'm trying to work out in my head which bits I want to keep, and I definitely want to keep all of the turtle, which means I'm going to have to cut around other pieces or maybe take some off the bottom. Now to start with, there was a little bit of foliage next to the turtle which was far too big, which had to be taken off. So I decided just to take that bit off first with my guillotine machine, trim off all the spare bits of plastic that I don't need, and then work out how much I needed to take off the bottom. I really like the bottom edge, but if I left the bottom edge on, the turtle would lose his top of his head or the top of his shell, so the bottom edge had to be trimmed. So I'm trying to work out how much I need to take off. I'm only going to take off the very basic amount. Obviously the edges with nothing on them had to go, and because there was a bubble on that one, I decided to cut the bubble out because I can always put the bubble on another piece. And then I worked out what part I needed to cut off at the bottom. This was quite scary because it took me quite a long time to actually figure out what to keep and what to get rid of. And it was still slightly too big. So I put it back into the guillotine and I just trimmed off a very small amount of the bottom. I missed it completely the first time, but the second time we cut it nice. And when I was happy that it was going to fit, the 2 bubbles at the end were just too much. So I took those off. Again, I can use them in a different project or on the top of this one. And when I was happy that it was going to fit, then I had to go for it. I had to take the backing off and try and get this sticker exactly where I wanted it to be in the tray. Now I figured I would go for the end first because the end is where the turtle is and it needs to be exact. However, I had it running at a slight angle. Now we are talking fractions of a millimetre here. Fractions of a millimetre. but it wasn't sitting right. And anyone who's used UV DTFs know that once you put that sticker down, there's no way you can pull it up again. So I had to think quickly, and I had to twist the sticker in the middle, which meant there was a bubble, huge bubble in the middle. Well, I thought to myself, well, I can snip that. I can snip it and I can overlap it. As long as the bottom is straight, the picture will look straight. It was foliage, and foliage is light and fluffy pieces anyway, so I thought I could get away with it. It was one of those things, there's nothing else I could do. I have to fix this. So I decided to try and use scissors, and then I decided to use a blade, and then I went back to the scissor idea, and I figured this is what's going to save me. I need to get the scissor in there, cut away the bubble, and then I could lay down the picture and it should overlap itself before I take the top plastic away. I figured I had to go for it because otherwise not only would I ruin this UV DTF, but probably my tray as well, because I couldn't get it off again. So that's what I went for. I did my utmost to push down any imperfection in the middle part there, and it was looking actually successfully done, and I kind of breathed a sigh of relief at this point. There was a little imperfection in the middle, but we'll figure out how we can fix that in a moment. Now I had to get the top plastic off to leave the picture underneath. That was trickier than I thought it was going to be because I couldn't get my fingers in to lift up the plastic. So I started to use a blade again. I ended up with a pair of tweezers that was just enough for me to get my fingers in to pull the top coat away. When it got to where I'd snipped it, it was a little awkward, but most of the picture actually stayed where it was. And then I could just reveal the rest of that UV DTF sticker. Like I said, I did breathe a sigh of relief. There is a tiny bit of imperfection there where I had to snip the UV DTF, and I am trying to push it down with my fingers, and generally speaking, you can't really see that there was an issue. I do have a couple of bubbles over to the right on a little bit of coral. Now, UV DTF is made of plastic. It is kind of a plastic print. Unlike other mediums that you can use to transfer pictures like tattoos or water-soluble paper, which I wouldn't do this with UV DTF stickers you can slice into them, get rid of the air and push them back down, and they will stay stuck. Even a little snip or a little pinprick will do the same thing. And as I said, there is slight imperfection in the middle, but you wouldn't actually know it was there. So now I have all the little pieces that I'd trimmed off. The tiny fish and the little schools of fish all can be used in this piece wherever I want them to go. So that's what I did. All of them went on this picture. Every last one. And I did actually use one of them to cover up the imperfection in the centre so that you can't even see where it was. And this was so much fun. I really enjoyed this so much. I do think that UV DTFs are a great invention, and whoever came up with this needs a pat on the back, because you really do get vibrant pictures no matter what colour background they are sitting on. When I'm happy with a picture, I go around the outside back edge with a deburring tool to get rid of any nasty sharp edges, and I put it out in the shower room, eventually next door to the other one, and I think they work really well together. And even though this tray was quite a trial with the UV DTFs, I'm so glad I got there. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Come back and see me next week, because you never know what I'm going to be doing. I never know what I'm going to be up to. Have a great week. Happy crafting, and bye for now.